the 10-metre-high curtain of gas struck without warning. It ate away at its victims' lungs and throats, causing hemorrhaging, muscular convulsions and blindness.
Night, when the incident happened, there was chaos everywhere. People were defecating and urinating in their clothes. They were begging to die. They didn't want to live. When I opened my eyes, I just saw bodies all over. Those were the dead bodies of small children, women and men of all ages in horrible condition. It was so terrifying.
"24 years later, there's still thousands and thousands of people that are sick. There are children that are born from the survivors, have second-generation health impacts. 24 years later, the Dow chemical factory nearby has still not been cleaned up, continues to poison the neighborhood by leaking toxic chemicals into the groundwater and the drinking water.
When we started, we just had 1.5 rooms for the clinic. And very soon, because of the effectiveness of the treatment that Sambhavna was offering, there were many people coming every day. So much so that we just couldn't function in those 2 rooms. And then we sat together, people working in the clinic, people in the Sambhavna Trust sat together and meditated on the kind of building we wanted. We knew what we didn't want. We didn't want closed space. We didn't want a building that smelt of chemicals. We didn't want a building that people thought was a prison more than a place to get well. And we were able to get the building ready in about 15 months' time.
Amid this toxic disaster, this clinic has grown up. It represents an oasis of healing amid chemical disaster. This clinic offers the best of Western medicine and traditional Indian medicine, growing in a garden space the herbs that are needed to treat the ailments that the Bhopal survivors face. The clinic has offered free medical care to over 20,000 people, and not just offering medical care, but teaching people about how to heal themselves, how to grow the herbs themselves and bring it back to their homes and prepare the medicines so that they could actually take responsibility for their own healing. Sambhavna represents the kind of 21st century healthcare that we all need, where primary healthcare is provided to people who need it, free of charge, and it's appropriate to their health problems. It educates them about how the environment is impacting on their health and helps them reduce their exposures as well as support their immune systems.
The other key thing that the people who work in the garden do is encourage people to grow their own herbal plants, to grow their gardens. Doctors would prescribe a plant to people. It's very unusual, but doctors would ask a person to go take a plant from the garden and take it home, and so that they grow the plant and take care of the plant, and the plant takes care of their chronic problems. And we have had very, very good results of this. Right now we have at least 5 gardens in the communities where people are growing themselves collectively, but there are hundreds of people who are growing medicinal plants. And we see in this, we see a lot of hope. After visiting one of Sambhavna's physicians, survivors can pick up their prescribed treatments at our dispensation unit. Extensive medical records are kept on file for every person receiving care at Sambhavna. Entries are monitored closely, tracking the effectiveness of our work. All treatment is provided at no cost to survivors. All of the clinic's medical work is supported by our in-house pathology lab. The lab performs a range of blood and urine tests, providing accurate and efficient results towards diagnosis and treatment patterns. One of Sambhavna's chief features is its involvement with medical research, and in this we have done research on long-term impacts of gas exposure. but we have also done research to test the efficacy of treatment systems. So in researching long-term impacts, we have studied, one of the key areas that we have studied is the effect on the next generation. And here we have found that the children of the gas affected people, particularly male children, are shorter, thinner, lighter, they have smaller heads. So we are talking of an entire generation marked by union carbide's poisons. And this has been possible by very rigorous and systematic research by Sambhavna staff members. So that and this research was published in the Journal of American Medical Association in October 2003. Also, we have done studies that show that yoga, through yoga and pranayama, people are able to deal with their lung problems. People who have had breathlessness for the last 13-14 years, people taking bronchodilators every day, they have been able to get done with medicines and have just cured themselves in a sustained manner. And we presented this data at the 16th World Asthma Congress in Buenos Aires, and it had very good response from people all over, because what we have showed that yoga is able to improve lung functions that is not possible through modern medicine.
Sambhavna Clinic also embodies many of the sustainable design principles that are being experimented on in American and European healthcare community. They have a healing garden that grows the herbs that are made into medicines on the clinic site. They have solar panels that fuel the electricity needs of the clinic. They use totally non-toxic building materials that are appropriate to the setting. They have passive solar cooling and heating. They save rainwater for rehydration of the groundwater as well as for use in the clinic. In Bhopal, you see the power of a growing movement for a toxic-free future. You see mothers, nurses, doctors, people who are saying that we all need to live in a world that is not poisoned by chemicals, that is not threatened by global warming, that supports life on the planet and the conditions for our health and the health of our communities.
All this together, what we are trying to do is to create a model response to chemical disasters, and also to create a setting in which not just people in Bhopal but people everywhere who are suffering from industrial diseases, suffering from diseases caused by industrial and environmental pollution, can get effective and sustained and simple treatment.
वाच काच मन निश्चल राखे पर धन नव झाले हाथ रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहे जे पीड़ पर आए जाने रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहे जे. As I roamed and I rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling waters of the river Ganges, and all around me a voice was sounding, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from the high Himalayas to Cape Comorin, from the Gulf of Cambay to the Hooghly waters. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me.